Mhm. So, hi everyone. Can you confirm if I'm audible? Hello, am I audible? Anyone can just please type in the chat box to confirm. Um, I can see two people. Anvika, can you confirm if I'm audible? Chinna, can you confirm if I'm audible? You can type in the chat box. Hello. 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 Is there anyone who can hear me? So kindly note that the recording will be this session will be recorded and recording will be shared with you. No. So I guess very no one is here right now actively. So let's wait for 5 more minutes and then I'll start the session. So hi everyone, am I audible? Can anyone just confirm? Hello. Can anyone just confirm? Am I audible? Hello. Just type in the chat box if you can hear me. So, am I audible? Please confirm. Hello. 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 Great. So I hope my I'm visible also. So yeah, let's start this session. So, screen allow. So is my screen visible? Just confirm, and then we can start. We start. Hello. Yeah. So let's start. Great. So welcome to this session, tutorials. One minute. I think. So just 1 second. I need to figure out some. Hmm. Yeah. Fine. So welcome to the tutorial session on. Uh, so, mm, mm, the joy of computing using Python. So my name is Rupesh Kumar, and today is September 27, 2024, and today is Friday. These sessions are held every week, 6 to 8 p.m. Fine. So is my screen visible? Everyone, please confirm that you can see the screen, and then we can start solving the problem. Start. Fine. So here are some practice problems that I'll be covering for this session. If you have any doubts, you can ask about them from the chat box. So this session will be held like this. So I will be solving these practice problems for you guys, and then when these problems will be over, I will be taking up problems and questions from you guys. After that, we will end the session. Right. This is the flow that we'll be having throughout this session. If you face any doubt, if you have any doubt or difficulties in understanding the answers, so please type in the chat box at that point only. Fine. That's great. So let's start. So in the Josephus problem, a group of soldiers form a circle, and so let's start with the first problem. And every eighth soldier is eliminated until only one remains. What would be the outcome of the following code? Fine. So let's think about the problem first. So so we have a group of a circle that form a circle. So let me open up the Wikipedia page that explains this problem. So in the computer science, Josephus problem or Josephus permutation is a theoretical problem related to certain counting out game. So the problem is like this. Let's say we have soldiers arranged in a circle. Then what happens? A counter begins, and after some number of counts, one of the soldiers has to be eliminated from the circle. Fine. That's what until only one remains. What would the output on the following code? So For solving this problem, you don't need to have a background on Josephus problem. But yeah, if you are interested, you can go on to the Wikipedia page and find out the ways to simulate the problem. So fine. So let's start looking at the code and try to solve it. So we have a function def Josephus n comma k. So n is the number of soldiers and k is the elimination factor. That means every kth soldier has to be eliminated from the circle in each iteration. So this is the recursive problem. So I hope every one of you is familiar with recursion. Anyone who has any doubt with recursion, please type in the chat box. Hello, am I audible? So, anyone, do you have any doubt related to recursion? Do you understand recursion? If you have, please type in the chat box. If you have, so you don't, you have a doubt with recursion. You don't know what is recursion. You have. So actually, I cannot unmute you guys because the problem is there are a lot of people who join these sessions, and then it will be difficult for me to manage everyone who's. So yeah. So let me give a brief introduction to recursion, so that so that you get familiar with the topic, and then we can solve the problem. Fine. So everyone, do you know how to write functions? So let's say we have a function f that takes in some argument r1, r2. Can use this colon operator to define that now the function body is starting to begin. Then you do something within the function. Do something, and then finally return some value, or you can return. Hello. My voice is echoing. Okay. Hello. Just let me. So now fine. Is my audio fine? Okay, let me try other options. Hmm. Hello. Now, uh, now is this fine? Now, can you confirm? Can you, Vandana, can you confirm if? Seems better. So is this echoing right now also, or it's fine? I think it should be fine because I think there was some issue with the headphones. So yeah. So this is a basic syntax for some Python functions, and then you do some operations within the function, and then you return some values. Fine. So what is recursion? So recursion is a way of writing programs using functions such that the function calls itself for doing the operation. The operation. So how do we like use recursion? How to understand what is recursion? So let's take a simple example of computing factorial of a number. So let's say I define a function factorial and I take in a number x and I want to return the factorial of x. Fine. So what will be the most basic way? So we know that factorial of x is equals to 1 into 2 into 3 into dot 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 into x. Fine. This is the value of factorial of a number. Uh, if also if x is 0, then its factorial is 1. Fine. These are two definitions that will help us to compute factorial of a number. So what is the most basic way? Basic way would be we can use iteration. So basically we can use loops to compute this solution. So let us declare a variable, declare factorial x, and assign the value 1 to it, and then you run a loop for I in range, and you want to run the loop till x plus 1, so that you want to pass x plus 1 argument to the function range, so that the for loop runs from 0 to x. And then you multiply factorial x, and you factorial x is equals to factorial x multiplied by I. Fine. And then finally what you do, you return factorial x. Another thing to check is if x is 0. So if x is 0, then what you need to do? So in that case also it will return 1, because I have already declared the variable factorial x as 1. So let's use this function to check. So let me zoom in a bit here. So from factorial factorial real import, what was this? Factorial. Fine. What was it? From recursion, sorry. The file name is recursion. From recursion import. Okay. ठीक है. हाँ. So from recursion import factorial. Fine. Now I can use this function to compute factorial of any number. Let's say we pass 0. So we are getting 0. So basically it is getting multiplied. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Acha, हाँ. So we have to put in a condition. If x is 0, then what we need to do? We need to simply return 1. Then it will do. Fine. And then factorial 0, you can see it is printing 1. So now let's say what is the factorial of 3? It is, so why it is 0? Acha, the starting value has to be 1. So there was a bug in our code. So basically we need to run the program from 1 to that number. So now we import factorial and then pass. So factorial of 3 is 6. Again, factorial of 4 is 24. Factorial of 5 is 120. Factorial of 6 is 720, and so on. Right. So this is how you can implement the factorial function using recursion, using iteration. Now let's say what I want to do. I want to use recursive formulation, or I want to write a recursive function that computes the factorial of a number. So let's declare the function def factorial, pass in x. So let's call it factorial recursive. So this is the recursive function, and this was iterative function. So now if x is equals to 0, what we have to do? We have to return 1. If x equals to x equals let's say we have a number x, then what we do? We start from x, number x into factorial x minus 1. Yep. So basically in recursive functions, we have some things known, some basic construct that are required. So one is the base case. Is the case where the recursion ends. Fine. So for our program, our recursion ends when x equals to 0. Then elif. So else, what we have to do? We have to call the function again. So we have to multiply x, the value x, with the factorial recursive at x minus 1. Fine. So what we are doing here, now we have the base case and then we have the recursive case. In the recursive case, what we are doing? In the where is this? In the recursive case, what we are doing? We are doing some operation and then calling the function factorial recursive again with some new value. Fine. So this is how recursion works. You basically define a base case where the program has to exit. For our case, when x becomes 0, then we have to return 1. That means 0 factorial is 1. Else, what you have to do, you have to return x multiplied by factorial recursive of x minus 1. And then what will be the factorial recursive of x minus 1? We can see. So let's say we have x is 4. Then 4 factorial is equals to 1 is equals to 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which can be written as 4 multiplied by 3 factorial. Everyone, do you agree with this? Which in turn can be written as 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 factorial. So this is how recursion works. So basically we know some value and we want to do some operation and get the value. So this is how recursive works, and you can see the output also. So from recursion import factorial recursive, and then simply call this function. On 0, you can say it will print 10. Then on 2, it will give 2. On 3, it will give 6. On 4, it will give 24. On 5, it will give 120. On 6, it will give 720. And on 7, it will give 5040. So you can see the values are same and the function is perfectly correct. So this is how recursion works. Everyone, anyone, do you have any doubt regarding to recursion? Please type in the chat box. Great. So now let's start solving the problems. Yep. So let's start with this problem. So we have a recursive function def Josephus n comma k. So it takes the number of soldiers and the elimination factor as input. If n is 1, if only one soldier is remaining, we have to return 1. Else, what you have to return? You have to call the function Josephus again with n minus 1 number of soldiers. The elimination factors remain same. Plus k minus 1 modulo n plus 1. Fine. So let's see how it works. And we are giving the inputs. N is 25 and k is 3. So let's see how this function works. See how is k is n 1? No, n is 25. So what we have to do? We have to return just say first n minus 1, which is 24, comma k is 3, which is fixed, plus k minus 1. So k minus 1 is 2. One modulo n plus 1. N is 1. Now n for this case was 25. Now what will this function return? So let's try to solve this. So now let's see what this value should be. Fine. Let's try to compute this value. Recurse, and eventually we will get to the answer. So what is this value? This is basically equals to, now n is not 1. So what we have to do? We have to again call Joseph. We have to again call Joseph first over 23. So basically n minus 1, k is 3 again, plus k minus 1 modulo n plus 1. Right? Plus k minus 1 is basically 2 again, and n is here 24 now. Now again, try to see what does this returns? So eventually you will see when n becomes 1, let's go to the very last stage of this recursion. So when you will keep expanding these functions, you will find out that eventually the state where you will reach is the last function call would be return, the value would be Jose first. It would be 2 comma 3 plus 2 modulo 3 plus 1. And yeah, now what will the value of this? What is this value? Josephus 2 comma 3. So Josephus 2 comma 3 is basically uh n is 2. It is basically Josephus 1 comma 3 plus 2 modulo 3 modulo 2 plus 1. Now, what is this value? Josephus 1 comma 3. We see that n is 1. So by n is 1, what we mean? N1 means we have to return 1. Our function returns 1. So it is equals to 1 plus 2 modulo 2 plus 1. So what is this value? This is 2 plus 1 3 modulo 2, which is 1 plus 1 2, which is 2. Fine. So what will be this value? This would be Josephus 2. Just replace this with 2. So 2 plus 2 modulo 3 plus 1. Fine. 4 modulo 3 is 1. Modulo plus 1 is 2. 1 minute. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is correct. So let's go one level up. We have to return Josephus. So it would have been 3 comma 3 modulo 4 plus 1 comma 3 plus 2 modulo 4 plus 1. So you can't see the input. I'm typing in this text document only. Anyone? Everyone, you are not able to see the screen? Okay, I think there is some issue with the sharing. Is my screen visible now, everyone? I think there was some network issue. Yeah, let me. Hi everyone. Now, is it visible? Can you see the updates? What's up? I have just rejoined, so please check again. Great. So this is what I was talking about. So I don't know from where you were not able to see the updates, so I will just reiterate. So this is a recursive formulation, and initially we have n is equals to 25 and k equals to 3. Fine. So then let's say we call the function Josephus n comma k, so 25 comma 3. So now n is, in the first iteration, n is 25, so not 1. So we have to run this case. Fine. Are you following me? Now, what we have to do in this case? We have to call the function Josephus with the arguments n minus 1 comma k plus k minus 1 plus k minus 1 modulo n plus 1. So what value should be returned? So now the screen is visible. Hello. Great. So now let's say the function in the first iteration returns this. So I think there is some network issue. So screen is visible, no? Okay. So now in the first iteration, what we do? We return function called Josephus with n minus 1 comma k. So 24 comma 3, n was 25, so it calls 24 comma 3 plus k minus 1. K minus 1 is 2 modulo n, which is 20, which was 25 plus 1. Fine. So now again, you for computing this expression, you need to know the value of this function call, which is Josephus 24 comma 3. So let's try to solve Josephus 24 comma 3. So again, n is 24, which is not 1. Then what it will do another function called Josephus 23 comma 3 plus 2 modulo n, which was 24 for this case, plus 1. And this way, when you go to the bottom of the recursion, you will find out that there will be a stage where there will be a function call that will be returning Josephus 3 comma 3 plus 2. So where here n is 3, k is 2, n is 4 for this case. And then if for this expression, you solve this value of this expression, which is actually this value. Return Josephus 2 comma 3 plus 2 modulo 3 plus 1 with then which is 2. Then again, when you try to resolve this value, Josephus 2 comma 3, it will do a function called Josephus 1 comma 3 plus 2 modulo 2 plus 1. And Josephus 1 comma 3 will be hitting the base case that will return 1. So you will simply return 1 plus 2 modulo 2 plus 1, which is equals to 2. So 2 modulo 2 is, acha, 3 modulo 2 is 1, and then 1 plus 1 is 2. Fine, everyone. Till now, you are able to understand how I am back going to the bottom of the recursion. Please type in the chat box. Great. So now we move step by step up. So you take this 2 value and copy this to this function value. Then you can solve this equation, this expression. So it says 2 plus 2 modulo 3 plus 1. So 4 modulo 3 is 1 plus 1, 2. Then use this value to go up again. Then you call Josephus 3 comma 3, which is 2 from the previous solve plus 2 modulo 4 plus 1, which is equals to 4 modulo 4 is 0 plus 1 equals to 1. Then as you will proceed further, you will find out that at this stage, you will get the value of this function to be 14. So this will be the correct answer. So skin is stuck right now. Okay, just hang on a minute. Let me do some changes, then we can restart. Hello. Hi everyone. So now is my screen visible? I think now everything should be fine. Just 1 minute. Hello. Yeah. So now I should be audible and my screen should be visible to you guys. Is this fine? Everyone? So let's start. So yeah. So now you are at this stage. So let's trace it back. So my screen is visible, no, everyone? So I'm just solving it. Okay. Joseph, yes. And at this stage, the value would have been 4 comma 3 plus 2 modulo 5 plus 1, which is equals to 1 plus 2 modulo 5 plus 1. 2 plus 1 3, 3 plus 1 4. And so when you solve this problem like this and you go to the top case, then you will find out that you will reach the value of 14. That will be the correct answer. Fine, everyone. Is this clear, everyone? So this is nothing new. You have to simply just track this function to the top until you get to the answer. Fine, just simply expand the loop and you will get the answer. Hello, am I audible? Where 3? Where is 3 plus 3 equals to 2? In which line? So in this line you are trying to say, Vandana? So this is basically 2 plus 2 modulo 3, which is 4 modulo 3. 4 modulo 3 is 1. And then you add 1 to it, so it becomes 2. Is this the question you are trying to ask? Hello? So yeah, so you just have to look at the value of the function Josephus 1 comma 3. So So when you look at the value of this function, Josephus 1 comma 3, when you go up, you can see when n is 1, return 1. Fine. So here n is 1 for this function call. So this value would be 1. So this is how we get 1 here. Is this clear? So how is 2 comma 3 equals to 2? So it is not just 2 comma 3. It is the function call over Joseph. So it's the function call. So Josephus at 2 comma 3. Now what is the value of this function? Can you tell me? This is a function call, no? And then this value is coming from this line. Can you see this? Can you find this? So Josephus 2 comma basically the value of this expression. Here where Josephus 1 comma 3 is 1 from the last line you can see. Then this expression amounts to 2. Now you replace this value in this expression here. So basically you are replacing that value here. Fine, Vandana. This is how recursive problems are solved. So are you able to understand the last line? Josephus 1 comma 3 equals to 1. Hmm? So what happens if you call this function with n equals to 1? Can you tell me? So this is the function that we are looking at, Josephus. What is the value if n equals to 1? Can you guess? So just think when you run the call this function with n equals to 1, what it does? It returns 1. Fine. Now in the last line, what we are doing? Can you tell me? Josephus 1 comma 3. What does it mean? So what should be the value of this line? What should be the value of this function call? Hmm? Here n equals to 1 and k is 3. Now this clear? Great. So fine. So this is fine. Now let's look at this expression. Fine. So here we are what we are doing, we are calling the function Josephus 1 comma 3. So do you know the value of this x function call? What is the value of this function call? Can you type in the value of this function call? Josephus 1 comma 3. The value is 1. Fine. The same value I am replacing that function call with that value. What is the value here? You can see it is 1. Can you say this? Fine. Then you evaluate the expression and you get the value of Josephus 2 comma 3 equals to 2. Fine. Now you agree how we are solving this problem. So we are trying to compute the value of this unknown function call and then replacing that function call value with the value that we get. Now in this expression you can see there is a function called Josephus 2 comma 3. So what is the value of Josephus 2 comma 3? From the next line you can see, tell me what is the answer? 2. So what I'm doing here, I'm just replacing that function call with the value 2 and computing the value of that expression. Is this clear, everyone? Now you repeat this until you get to the function call where Josephus 25 comma 3 was called, which is this expression. And you will see this value will be 14. Is this clear, everyone? Great. I guess now we can proceed with the next problem. So when you keep solving this, you will get that you will see that the value of this solve is 14. Answer is 14. Option B. Let's move on to the next question. Question 2. What is the purpose of lowercase and uppercase methods in Python when applied to strings? So the options are: lower converts a string to all lowercase letters, while upper converts a string to all uppercase letters. Lower converts, uh, yeah, lower converts a string to all uppercase, and while upper no. This is incorrect. So first option is correct. Lower converts a string to all lowercase letters, well as upper converts a string to all uppercase letters. Option A. Fine. So anyone, do you have any doubts in this problem? Let's move on to the next question. So this is question number 3. Hmm. So what would the output of the following snippet code provided above? The code is like this: original string equals to apple, banana, cherry, apple, date. Modified string equals to original string dot replace apple with orange. Print modified string. Can anyone answer this question? This is a very straightforward question. So you are given a string then you are given using the replace function on that string and modifying it using the modify function, replace function, and you are looking at some values, replacing the string apple with orange in the string. Can anyone tell me what is the answer here? So option A is correct, everyone. So basically, you are simply replacing the string apple with the string orange here. That's it. Fine. So the correct answer is option A. Option A. Fine. So let's move on to the next question. Fine. Slicing in lists works the same manner as slicing in strings. If P is a non-string list of length n, we wish to create a list Q that has first n minus 1 elements in P. Select the correct implementations of this program. Right. Everyone, are you familiar with list and string slicing in Python? So someone is asking, does it replace does the replace function replaces all occurrences? So yeah, it the replace function replaces all the occurrences of the particular set of characters from the given string. Yeah. So let's move on to the next question. Slicing works the same manner as slicing in strings. If P is a non-empty list of length n, we wish to create a list that a queue that contains first n minus 1 elements in P. Select the correct implementation. Can anyone answer me? What is the correct answer? So do you understand what is slicing in Python? Hello? So all of you understand slicing, no? Okay. So yeah. So please look at this Python console and then let us see what is slicing. Fine. Let's say we have a string str that contains the value a b b d d d c c c e e s s t. So you can access each and every element of this string uses the indexes using this square brackets. So str at 0 is basically a. You will see a string at index 2 is b. Then you can also see the value of string at index -1. -1 is basically meaning the string character at the index last index. So this is s. You can see the string ends in s. -2 is also s. So you can also see -4 would be c. So basically when you pass negative indexes, it means what is the value add in the string or the list, those places ending from the end of the string or the list. Fine. So this is how you access elements in a list in Python. So now, let's say we have a for the problem list. So the same goes for lists. So let's say we have a list L that contains some values. Fine. So we want to check the value stored at index 0. So L at 0, it is 1. L at 4. L at 5 is non-possible because it does not exist. So yeah. Now there is an operator known as slicing operator. What it does is when you this is basically the semicolon. This is the colon operator. Everyone, are you familiar with this operator? And also please make sure my screen is visible to you guys. Yeah. So you must be familiar with this colon operator. So when you pass in this colon into this index accessing bracket, then what happens? It returns all the values that contains all the values in the list shown here. Fine. Now let's say I want to get a sub list that starts from the index 0 of this list and that ends at the index 3. Then you have to pass in 0, 4. So you can see you are getting the sublist 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the values stored at the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3. Fine. Now, this is how slicing works. Now, what is the meaning of -1? -1 basically says what is the end index till -1 till which you want to get the value. Fine. So now let's go back to our problem. This is how slicing works in Python. Fine. So now we want to get a list that contains first n minus l and 1 elements in the list P. So let's see. So we have a list like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it contains 6 elements. We want to get a Q. This is P. And we want to get a list Q which contains the following value. It contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically first n minus 1 elements from the list P. So now let's go back to the options. The first option says Q equals to P, uh, get the elements from the list P In this index range 0 to length of p minus 1. So basically it will give a return. So for a list containing 6 elements, it says p at 0 colon 5. So basically print the return the values at the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's get to the second option B. So this is correct. So option A is correct. So now let's get to the option B. What does it say? It says q equals to p at start from 0 till length of p minus 1. This is also correct. So basically if you ignore the number at any side of the column, it means to the start or the end depending upon the side on the column. Minus 1 also means length of p minus 1. So index at minus 1 is essentially meaning a length of p minus 1. Then again you are losing colon here, so it does not change anything. So all the options are correct. Fine. So the correct answer is all of the above. Anyone? Do you have any doubts in this problem? So if you face any difficulty, please type in the chat box. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. So question number 5. So select all the correct options about the matrix given below. So matrix is defined as a list. So I hope you all remember how you are declaring matrices in Python. So we were using list of lists to define matrices in Python. Fine. So let us see. So we have a matrix equals to. So let's declare. Let's see what does this matrix looks like. So when you talk mathematically, the matrix would look like. So it contains 3 lists. It essentially contains 4 rows. So each row contains 3 columns. So basically 4 comma 3. This matrix is of dimensions. So let me type in the matrix contains 4 rows, 4 lists having 3 elements each. This means 4 rows and 3 columns. Fine, everyone. This is how you are using. This is how you were defining matrices in Python using lists. So basically, for 2D matrices, two-dimensional matrices, we define two-dimensional lists. So a list inside of a list. The outer list contains as many as there are rows in the matrix, and in each list there are as many elements as many there are columns in the matrix. Fine. So let's see. First problem, first option. A equals to length of matrix is the number of rows in the matrix. This is perfectly correct because we are talking about the total number of rows, basically total number of element lists inside the big list. So this is correct. Let's see option 2. Length of matrix 0 is the number of columns. This is also correct because we already saw the number of elements in the inner list, which is matrix at 0 basically is the number of columns. The dimension of the matrix is 4 comma 3. Option C is also correct. Option D is not correct. Fine. So the answers are what did just happen? So yeah, so the correct answers are options A, B, and C. These are the correct answers. Anyone, do you have any doubts? Please type in the chat box. So option B is correct because what is the value of matrix at 0? First tell me, what is the value of matrix at 0? Matrix at index 0. What is this value? Can you tell me? Please, Vinayak, can you just tell me what is the value of this matrix value? Matrix at index 0. Column values? So no, that's incorrect. So how we are representing matrices? We are representing a list, and the outer list contains as many as sub lists, smaller list, inner list, as many as there are rows in the matrix. And each sub list contains now, is the screen visible, everyone? So I'm just expanding the matrix and writing all the elements. Basically 1, comma 2, comma 3, then row 1, 4, comma 5, comma 6. Fine. Row 2 is to 7, comma 8, comma 9. Then we have row 3, which is equals to 10, comma 11, comma 12. So this is how this matrix looks like. So you have an outer list containing as many as smaller list as there are number of rows in the matrix. Then each row contains as many as elements as there are columns in the matrix. Is this clear to everyone? So please confirm or I will proceed. So just type in the chat box if you have any doubts. Fine. So let's move on to the next question. So let's read out the question first and then try to solve it. So we have L, which is a non-empty list of integers, and X is an integer. Fine. Assume that both L and X assume that both L and X have already been defined. Now, the following code does not throw any error when executed. Lines 1 and 6 will be used to refer to the state of the variables before and after key sections of the code are being executed. If the value of the count is 10 after the end of the execution of line 6, which of the following statements are true? So let's read the code first. So everyone, are you able to understand the problem? So we have a L, which is a non-empty list of integers, and X is an integer. Assume that both L and X have already been defined. The following code does not throw any error when executed. And lines 1 and 6 will be used to just ignore that part right now. If the value of count is 10 at the end of execution of the code, which of the following statements are true? So everyone, are you able to understand? So let's see. So let's see, we have L. L is a non-empty list of some integers. So let's say 1, 2, 3, and some values we don't know. Then X is some integer, some random, let's say 8. The value of count is 10 at the end of the execution of line. So what is the value of which of the following are true? So so let's see what the program does. So it basically says initializes the variable count as 0 first. Then while length of the list L is positive. So while length of list L is greater than 0, what we have to do? We have to remove an element X from list L and print count plus equals to 1 and then pass. Fine. So now if the value of count is 10 at the end of the execution of line 6, then what does it mean? Anyone? So basically at each iteration, what you are doing, you are simply removing the value X from the list L. So if this program is not throwing any error, this means X has to be present in the list L. Fine. So pass, just ignore the past statements. Just as past statement basically does do nothing. It just says just yeah, move on to the next line. So past statements in Python are used when you want to say the program to just move on to the next line. That's it. Fine. So just ignore these past statements for now. Okay. Now what we are doing inside the while loop, we are removing. So first one option says while length of L is greater than 0, and initially we have declared count as to be value 0, and the value of count is being updated inside the while loop only, and the value of count after the end of execution is 10. So this means list has some elements. L had some elements which is not empty, that is stated in the program. Also, it says that throughout its execution, the program does not throws any error. This means L contains the value x. Otherwise, it would have been throwing an error that x is not present in the list. Fine. So let's see. The first option is correct. X is an element of line or element of L. So this option is correct. Everyone understood why this has to happen? So option A is correct. Then L has at least two different elements in the line 1. So this is not possible. Essentially, L has to be a list containing 10 axes. Why this has to be case? So basically, L has to be a list containing 10 axes. Let's say when x is 8, then L has to be 8, comma 8, comma 8, comma 8, comma 8, 8, 8. Oh. So L has to be this list, otherwise this program will return an error. Fine. So option B is not correct. Option C says length of L is 10 at line 1. So this is true because count is becoming 10 when the length of L is becoming 0. Length of L is 0 at line 6. This is also true, otherwise the program would have not been exiting outside the while loop. So correct answer is options A, B and D. Anyone, do you have any doubts? Anyone? I hope you understand the problem. Please type in the chat box if you have any difficulties. A, B, and D, not A, C, and D. Sorry, A, C, and D. B is not true. A, C, and D. So really sorry for that. Yeah, it's A, C, and D. So X is an element of L at line 1, length of L is 10 at line 1, and length of L is 0 at line 6. Fine. Anyone, do you have any doubts in this problem? Please type in the chat box. Great. Let's move on to the next question. Again, we have a problem related to L. Assume that L is a non-empty list of positive integers. Also assume that list is a distinct collection of numbers. That is, no two numbers are alike. Consider the following code and answer the questions 7, 8, 8 based on this. Fine. So let's start. So s equals to 0 for x in L, s plus equals to x. So L contains non-empty list of positive integers, and it is a set basically because no two elements of the list L are same. Fine. Oh, fine. So that's it. Now we are declaring a variable s equals to 0 for x in L, s plus equals to x, basically s equals to s plus x. This line says equals to s plus x. Fine. So basically what you are doing, we are storing the sum of integers present in the list L. Fine. Now we are declaring a variable flag that stores the value false. So flag is false for now. Now we are initializing y. Y is -1. So y is -1 now. Now for each element in L, for x in L, what we have to do? If x into length of L is equals to s, we have to return set flag to true and update y equals to x and break. Fine. Yeah, just 1 second. Yeah. So if x, so for each element in the list L, what we have to do? We have to check if the product of x into L, so basically the element value into the length of the list L is equals to the sum of all the values present in the list. Then we have to set flag equals to true and y, we have to set y equals to x and then break. So anyone, can you find the pattern from this problem? So let's say we have a list like this, L equals to here. Everyone, please pay attention here. This is a really interesting problem. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, so let's say we have this list, fine. This list L. Now what would be S equals to sum of all the elements present in the list, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6, which is 12. Fine. Everyone, are you with me at this point? Am I audible? Is my screen visible? Anyone please confirm? So this is a really interesting problem that you should pay attention. Great. So now let's go back to the problem. So now S is 12. Now for x in L, so basically for x in L means when x is 1, you have to check is 1 into length of L is 4. 1 is 4 is equals to 12. The answer is no. Now x equals to 2, the second element, is 2 into 4 equals to 12. This is also no. Now if x equals to 3, then is 3 into 4 equals to 12. Yes. Now what we have to do? We have to set y equals to x and break. So basically y is 3, which is 3 here. So can anyone tell me what is the value 3 for this list? It has a very special name for a set of numbers. Anyone? Please type in the chat box if you know what is 3 for this list. It's a really special number. So have you heard about the term average or mean of a set of numbers? Great. So when you take a mean of these numbers, you will see it will be 3. Everyone, are you getting it? Great. So basically what this program is doing is basically it's trying to find the mean of trying to find if the mean of this set of list is present in the list itself. If it is, then update y as x and otherwise not. So let's get to the problem statement. If flag is true at the end of the execution of the code given above, which of the following statements are true? Fine. Note that the option should be true for any list L that satisfies the conditions given in the common data. Multiple options can be correct. So it is saying, so this is our problem 7. So now look at the problem. If the flag is true at the end, if the flag is true, so initially flag was false. Now if we find a number which is also the mean of the list, also present in the list, then flag has to be set to true. So it says if the flag is true, then which of the followings are correct? Fine. So y is an element in the list L. That's perfectly true. Because if flag is true, we are specifically assigning y to be a value present in the list L. So this option is true. Then y is the greatest number in the list? False. Y is the average of the numbers in the list? That is also true. And why is the element of the index L integer divisible by 2? No, this is incorrect. Fine, everyone. The correct answers are options A and C. Everyone, do you have any doubts? Are you able to get this problem, understand this problem? Sorry. Is this clear, everyone? Fine. Anyone, if you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. Anyone, do you have any doubts? Please type in the chat box. I believe no one has any doubts. So let's move on to the next question. Question number 8. Assume that L is a list of first and positive integers where n equals to greater than 0. Under what conditions will the variable flag be true at the end of the execution of the code given below? So this is interesting. Let's look at the problem. Yeah, fine. So let's say we have a list of first and positive integers when n is greater than 0. What conditions the valuable? So in what condition you will find the mean to be present inside the list. So so, so um, so everyone, are you familiar with this idea that sum of uh, 10 sum of positive integers till n is equals to n into n plus 1 divided by 2? Everyone, are you familiar with this idea? So this is correct perfectly. So let's say this is the sum of all elements in the list. For it to be a so what should be the mean in this case? is case equals to n, oh, n plus 1 divided by 2. So now I'm saying n plus 1 by 2, which is an integer. This means n should be, anyone? Any guesses? So I'm saying we have a list that contains first n positive integers, and we want to find the mean of that list. The mean of that list is n in n plus 1 by 2. Then we are saying the flag returns true. The flag returns true. This means we were able to find the mean of this list to be present in that list. This means n plus 1 by 2 is present in the list. Now, if n plus 1 by 2 is present in the list, this means it has to be a positive integer. Now, for integer, n plus 1 should be divisible by 2. This means n should be odd number. So, correct answer is option A. Anyone, do you have any doubts? Option A. Anyone? Please type in the chat box if you have any doubts. If you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. So, Shashank, which part you were not able to understand? Please type in the chat box. So, this is the program that we are looking at. Shashank, can you point out where you have the doubts? So, basically, the program is saying there are two separate sections. First section is adding all the elements into variable s. Then in the second session, what we are saying, if x into length of L, so basically length of element in the element present in list L, if that value is equals to sum of elements, this means if the mean of the list L is present in the list, we have to set flag equals to true, store the mean in the variable y, and then break. So this is all this program is doing. So can you point out where you have doubt in this program? Shashank? Yeah. What is L or I? So what is I? So in this program, there is no I. So it's basically L is a list that contains positive integers. L is a list that contains positive integers. All the values are different. They are not same. Fine. Hello. Great. So let's move forward. So let's go on to the question number 9. Which numpy function is used to create a matrix of specified shape with random values between 0 and 1? Anyone? It's very straightforward question. Please answer. So yeah, option C is correct. NP, NumPy is a Python library that is used for numerical calculations. So it's np.random.rand. So the correct answer is option C. Fine. So let's move on to the last question for this session. So this is question number 10. So select the correct implementation of a program. Select the correct implementation of a program that creates a text file named pattern.txt with the following contents. So basically it contains A, Z, B, Y, C, X, D, W, E, V, so on. So let's see. The first option is, everyone please note this pattern. So f equals to open pattern.txt. So we are opening a file pattern.txt in read mode. So basically R. Then letters, we are defining the letters, then defining the n equals to number of letters, integral divided by 2. Then for I in range, line equals to letter. So basically, whatever do you do here, you cannot call f dot write here because you are reading this file in a read mode. Everyone, can you find this issue? So what does we do? So you can look up in the internet what does these numpy functions do. Fine. So everyone, please pay attention to this code segment. So can you see that file pattern.txt is being opened in the read mode? Everyone, please confirm. Am I audible? Is my screen visible? Yeah. So yeah. So basically the file is being opened in the read mode. So you can't call write function over that file. So this is incorrect. So let's go on to the next function. F equals to open pattern.txt in write mode. That's fine. You're opening in write mode. Then letters equals to APC. So basically you are defining the alphabets, English alphabets in the variable letters. N is basically 13, which is length of letters integrally divided by 2. Then for I in range, line is basically letters at I plus letters at -1 minus I. Okay, that's correct. Basically, you want to couple these values. So A is coupled with Z, B is with Y. So basically index at I, letters at I, and letters at and minus I. So I is 0, so A is A. Then I and minus I is and minus 0, which is Z. Then again, if and so on. So this is correct. Then you are calling f dot write on line. Now, can you identify why this program is also incorrect? So this is opening the file in write mode. It is doing the correct operations. However, it is still incorrect. Why it is incorrect? Anyone? There is no error in this line for sure. The first thing is you are not changing line. So you have to add plus backslash n here to change the line, obviously, to get this pattern. The second issue is you are opening it in write mode, not append mode. So it is not A here, it is W. So when you open files in write mode, every time you write something, it gets overwritten. Fine, everyone, do you understand this? So you have to open the file in append mode to write multiple lines one iteratively. Great. So now when you see the next option also, it says W's. This is incorrect, but it uses backslash n to change line. So if you want to get the correct answer, you have to replace this W with A. Then it would be a correct answer. Fine. So these were all questions that I had for this session. If you have any queries, please type in the chat box. Fine. So I'm here till then, till late. So you can just type in the chat box if you have any query. So everyone, please type in the chat box. Fine. So I'll be here in few minutes. So, hi everyone. If you do you have any doubts? If you don't have any doubts, you can leave the session. So these are all questions that I had for you guys today. Hello. Anyone do you have any doubt? If you don't have any doubts, you can leave the session. Yeah, the all these problems will be shared with you guys in the upcoming by the NPTEL team. So everyone, please, you can leave the meeting if you have no doubts. So I guess no one has any doubts.